Well, hello there, people. I hope you're keeping very well indeed, and thank you so much for checking out this video. This is something I've been wanting to bring out for a while now, and it's about something I'm quite passionate about. In fact, as I'm speaking to you, although the video release date will be after this, this is the 18th of January 2023, meaning it's been one whole year since the release of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. And I've played this since its release that year ago. It's a game that I've wanted to get into because I'm an old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Player. And this was before Pendulum Summons, Link Summons, so as you can imagine, I've had a lot of catching up to do, and I'd imagine people picking up the game now are still, like myself, reminiscing from back in the day, as well as those that are quite in the know and know what decks are good and what aren't so hot at the moment. But either way, as a free-to-play player, it has been a grind to try and get gems. And with my year's worth of knowledge, I think it's the perfect anniversary video to impart my knowledge onto you, to show you how you can get as many gems as possible consistently, whether you're a free-to-play player like myself and need to get those gems together to be able to make the decks that you want, or if you're spending money on the game and you want to try and save a little bit. I'm really hoping these tips would help you out. On that same note, if you did enjoy this video, it would be super helpful if you could give it a like, or share it with others that you think this video could be helpful to. Or both, obviously. The way the YouTube algorithm is, as you all probably know by now, it's reliant on likes, comments, all that sort of good stuff. And for a video like this, I want to be able to help as many people as possible. So if you could do that for me, that would be amazing, but no pressure at the same time. Now, the way this video is going to work is we're going to start off with the really easy, simple ways of claiming gems. It's going to be stupidly easy as we start, and then as we progress, it will be the slightly stranger, potentially more difficult ways of claiming gems, but we're going to cover it all, and I will be putting timestamps in this video, so you've got little chapters and you can skip to where you want, or restart at a particular bit if you want me to go over a particular piece of information again. So, to kick things off, we're going to start with gem bonuses which don't even rely on you playing the game. This will be your login gem bonus as well as the Duel Live gem bonus. Together, this will give you 25 gems as a minimum daily, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you do that over 4 days, that is a booster pack, all yours for not even playing the game. To collect your login gem bonus, all you got to do is fire up your game, press start, wait for it to load, and that's it. That is the condition fulfilled. So from there you can go into the missions tab, click on login, and then click on the highlighted gems. That is it. That is your minimum of 20 gems claimed. For the Duel Live gem bonus, you could argue it's a bit more difficult than the login gem bonus. All you got to do is select the Duel Live panel, fire up that game to watch, and then you could watch the whole game, or you could go into the settings and quit out of it. Doesn't matter if you watch the whole thing, you will then fulfill that Duel Live gem bonus condition. Again, it will then go into your missions. You'll see it highlighted as with a number 1. If you haven't got any other missions completed at this point, go into Duel Live and collect your bonus. That's it. That's all you've got to do. Before we start the next chapter, we've got to talk about something. Surrendering. Now, why on earth does this need its own little chapter? It's because it will actually stop you getting gems or any progression for any of the missions later down the line that you'll see as we go through this video. In fact, it'll affect you in every other chapter apart from one right near the end, being the Miscellaneous section. Now, what I mean in terms of it not registering anything, it's pretty much exactly what it means. So say you've got a mission for special summoning 5 times, just pulling something out of thin air for you. If you special summon 5 times in a match, and then things aren't going your way, and you surrender because you know you're going to lose, it doesn't even count what you've done. In fact, it doesn't even give you any rewards at the end. As you'll notice when you surrender, it will give you 0 points when it comes to working out things like legacy tickets or little gem rewards or the cards that you're never ever going to use. So with that, try and ride it out to the end if you can. The only acceptable circumstance I would say for surrendering is if you've started a game and you know you're going to lose, you haven't even done anything yet, and you think you're going to save time by quitting out of that match and just starting another one, no matter what mission you're going for, then I would say that's acceptable. But the last thing you want to do is waste your time in, say, a 20-minute match. You've done lots of stuff, whether it be battling or some sort of mission requirement, and then for it to all go to waste. So if possible, and if you can remain calm, try to ride out the rest of the match, so at least what you've done doesn't go unnoticed by the system. Speaking of potentially wasted efforts, there is one last thing you must do to register your progress with the missions that we're going to discuss later. And that is to either play ranked mode only, or to play through the events once they're available, which is obviously infrequent with Konami. But these two play styles currently are the only thing that register progress through mission completion and earning the gems that you so rightfully deserve. If you was to play casual mode, even if you was to, for example, special summon 50 times, and that was one of your missions, not a single one of those special summons will actually register. So unless you're really playing casual to mess about with either friends or just try out other decks and, you know, preserve your rank, then I would strongly suggest sticking with ranked mode all the time, unless there is an exhibition event that you really enjoy, which again counts towards your mission progression. Now, moving on to actually playing the game to get some gems, we have the daily mission gem bonuses. If we was to treat this as a clean slate, then what you'll notice is 3 missions will appear in the daily missions tab, and you can either finish them at that point or ignore them and finish them whenever you wanted to, up until the expiry period anyway. In this example, if you was to then log in the following day, you'll see another 3 missions, and if you was to do the same thing again, you'll have another 3 missions the day after that. Now, the big thing to remember is you can only store 9 daily missions at a time. So if you was to be at the maximum 9 missions and you was to log off for the day and log back in the following day, you'll see no new missions will appear. It will keep what you have there until you at least complete one of them. So what this means is that on any given day, you want to try and keep your list down to a maximum of 6 missions, so that another 3 can generate without any problem the following day for you once you log in. Now also, I'm discussing logging in quite a bit here. So the example for what happens if you don't log in is, say you've got your 3 daily missions and you think to yourself, I'll get back to that in another 2 days' time and try and blitz through all 9 missions at once. Nope, that's not how it works. What'll happen if, when you log in on that 3rd day, is you'll see 6 missions. So you need to log in for those 3 daily missions to appear every single day. And this goes where if you don't even sign in at all, like in a month for example, and you've got the clean slate waiting there, then whenever it is you log in, you'll still see only 3 missions for that first time you log in after X amount of time. So it's important you do that login, at least generate the missions into your list, even if you don't have time to complete them at that moment in time, and then come back to them later when you can. I mean, whether it be from mobile or PC, you know, depending where you're at the time, it doesn't take much effort just to log in, just so that they're in that list for you. Now, what do the daily missions give you? At this moment in time, no matter what daily mission it is, you get 40 gems for each one you complete. Now, that has changed in the past, or sorry, rather it was different in the past, and it could potentially change in the future also. But as of this moment in time, any daily mission you complete is 40 gems, meaning if you was to be really up on your missions, then every day you're going to get 120 gems. Meaning after a week, that is a set of 10 booster packs you can get. So you'll have that guaranteed super rare at the end, or ultra rare if you didn't get a single ultra rare in the previous 10 pack. Now, 2 more points to make about daily missions before we move on. The first is that if there's a mission you really don't like, or a set of missions that you don't like, the best thing to do is not to claim those rewards if they're already available just by playing the game, because what will happen if you claim the other ones that you actually do like, there's a higher chance that they will generate again the following day. Obviously it depends on the situation, but say for example you've got 9 missions and you like special summoning monsters, doing solo mode and destroying cards. If you just collect the rewards of those 3 at that particular point, you log in the next day and those same 3 missions will appear. And that's because at this moment in time anyway, there's 9 missions to complete, all varying from each other, and the mission log doesn't duplicate these missions. So if you're doing the same 3 over and over that you enjoy and you love, then that's going to make doing your daily missions more of a breeze. So do that, and then this will lead us into the second point, and that's to make sure you complete the daily missions before the final hours slash the last 24 hours before there's the expiry date kicks in, or the expiry time, depending how you look at it. Now what I mean by that is if you're in the same circumstance where you've got 9 missions and you do your 3 that you really like, and then you log in the following day, you'll see a clean slate. That's it. It'll be a clean slate, it will generate 3 random missions again, and you've actually lost out on about 240 gems there for the 6 missions you ignored previously. Now, this is only going to affect you on a monthly basis, because at this moment in time, the expiry date for all missions is, all daily missions is monthly. But it's worth noting because, again, each daily mission of 40 gems doesn't sound like a lot by itself, but it's gems, and the missions aren't usually too bad, unless you really don't have the dex to complete a particular mission type. Then there's no excuse to not wrap these missions up before they reset for the month. Moving on, we're now going to talk about the Rank Up Gem Bonus Awards. As the name implies, you're going to get it by playing the ranked mode and moving up the different tiers and ranks. Now, talking about the tiers first, other than Rookie mode, which has only 2 tiers, every other rank has 5 tiers. And you'll start at tier 5, the bottom of the rank. Moving up will then get you to tier 4, tier 3, and so on up to tier 1. And then if you meet the criteria to move beyond tier 1, you will rank up to the next step. So for example, moving from bronze to silver or silver to gold. Now for moving up a tier, you will earn 100 gems. Moving up a rank, you will earn 200 gems. Sounds great, right? Now the common misconception is to try and rank up as hard as possible before the season end and just accept whatever bonuses you get at that point. However, there are a few things to discuss about that, because ranked up mode at this moment in time isn't amazing, or rather it doesn't reward you the way you should be rewarded for getting as high as possible through the ranks. Let's discuss that. What the end of the season will do is move you to the previous rank and automatically put you at tier 5. So say for example you're on gold tier 3, you'll move down to silver tier 5. At the same time, if you're gold tier 1, it will still move you down to silver tier 5. And so on, no matter what, it will just push you down that one rank and put you at the bottom tier. So on that basis, what you're going to try and do if you're comfortable with the rank you're in is try and get to tier 1 and finish the season at that. Because say for example you then move up to, say you're on silver, we're using the same example here, and you then move up to gold tier 5 and the season ends, then that actually means you've lost out on about 400 gems. Because if you'd have finished on gold tier 1, you would have received 100 gems for each tier you go up, and you're still going to end up at tier 5 at the end of the day. So again, whichever rank you're currently in, try and get to tier 1, and if you're struggling, just try to get to as high a tier as possible, because the higher your rank, the more likely that losses are going to punish you by moving you down particular tiers. Usually it's 3 straight losses and you're knocked down a tier. That could change in the future, but that is how it currently is. And like I said, regardless of whether it's gold, platinum or even diamond rank, the reward for just moving up a rank is still going to be 200 regardless. So if you're not too either confident in your deck, or you know that your deck is a bit of a gimmick and it's not going to really do that well against the top meta stuff, then don't punish yourself by moving up a rank. Yes, you could think to yourself, well, I'm losing out on another 600 gems by not moving up a rank, but you'll never actually be that far behind someone who's the top rank or tier, even if you're silver constantly. That only means you're about 1800 gems behind someone who is permanently diamond no matter what the season, because there is no difference in the gem bonus awards for the higher ranks. So why stress yourself out? Just stick with the rank you're comfortable with and keep trying to hit tier 1. Next up, we have the lifetime mission gem bonuses. Now, you should not stress about these whatsoever because they are designed to be completed over a very long stretch of time. Now, you can actually view what you need to do here handily in the missions tab and just under the lifetime section, and you'll see that there is a ton to do, from things like normal summons to banishing opponents' monsters. They're very simple things, and you'll see that after you do a set amount, you'll get a reward. Usually it's gems, but other times it's mascots or icons. Just keep on doing your thing, and you'll start completing these automatically. Now, the other thing to note here is that there are actually secret lifetime missions. One example is doing over 8,000 battle damage in one hit. Now, what you'll see is when you go back into your lifetime missions, there'll be a new tab that appears for that particular mission, and it might have different tiers, so you've got to do the same thing constantly, just like the other lifetime missions, to claim the rewards in that line. I won't list all the lifetime missions here, as they could well update in the future. However, if there is a bit of demand for it, then I might make a separate video of the lifetime missions and the best way to be able to complete those. Now we're going to head on into probably the most juiciest ways of earning gems, which is the events that Konami hold, which we'll call the event bonus gems in this chapter. Now, the unfortunate thing with this is that the events are released periodically throughout the seasons, and it's not something you could just dip in and dip out of whenever you wanted to. In fact, you'll only usually be given a couple of days notice of the release of an event from Konami within the notifications tab, so do keep an eye on that for upcoming events. But either way, once an event does hit, oh boy, there are so many gems that you can claim in different ways. Usually, you're going to earn a minimum of 3,000 gems if you fulfill all of the conditions. So again, very juicy. Out of all of the ways of earning gems, event bonus gems are probably the quickest way of getting a chunky injection for you to spend how you like. So these are not to be sniffed at. Do the events when they appear. They're just amazing. Especially as a free-to-play player, they are amazing for gaining gems quickly. Now, the way to earn gems is actually split into 2 parts for any of these events. The first is with medal score, and the second is event-specific missions, which will appear in the missions tab as always, and you'll see a new section appear for event. My advice is to concentrate on the event missions first, followed by the medal score. The reason for that is because even concentrating on the event missions and losing matches, those medals will still contribute to the medal score anyway, whereas focusing on medal score doesn't necessarily mean you're going to complete those last missions. So let's talk about the event missions. The big thing, besides checking what it is you actually have to do in the event missions tab, is it doesn't matter whether you win or lose at this point during your event games. As long as you're focusing on what it says, for example, if it's got to be X amount of special summons, just keep on special summoning. Doesn't matter. It might even come to a point where you're playing your favourite deck and you realise that it doesn't help you complete a particular mission. It then doesn't matter if you change to a made up deck where it fulfills that particular requirement. Just as long as you're keeping a key focus on the events, or rather on the event missions that are left, then that is the best thing you can do. Again, regardless of whether you win or lose. The other thing to bear in mind is usually halfway through the event there will be another 2 types of event mission that get released. So don't think that if you smash through all of your event missions on day 1 that that's the end of it. It really isn't. Keep an eye on the notifications and you'll see when the the additional event missions come out, and again you can then focus on them and continue earning gems. Simple, beautiful, right? Right, indeed. Now let's talk about that medal score, shall we? What you will notice first of all is there is a separate rewards list when you go into the Event Duel menu. It's worth keeping an eye on this because not every prize are gems. You'll notice in most circumstances that you hit a certain point and then it's legacy tickets or potentially something you're not interested in. Legacy tickets falling under that bracket, of course. So if you've hit the maximum amount of medal score for collecting gems, then there's really no point in playing the event any further, not unless you still happen to have some event missions to complete. Because again, the main point of this video is to get as many gems as possible. And are legacy tickets really worth it? Probably not, probably not. But do keep an eye on the rewards list regardless, because again, the game could update and change in the future. Just at the moment, and with previous rewards from getting lots of medals, it really hasn't been too promising. So just get those gems and then get the hell out of there. If you're having trouble winning your games to get the maximum amount of medals after each game, then you would probably want to make a self-destruction deck. Now, what I mean by that is literally just knocking yourself out in the quickest way possible. And it's usually with cards where you have to either pay a load of life points at once, or you take a certain amount of damage within certain conditions. In short, it's to try and lose as quickly as possible, as opposed to struggling with trying to win and then still getting a loss after 15-20 minutes or whatnot. The self-destruction deck, you usually ruin yourself in 2 turns, so I will probably publish one of these at some point soon, and if that is the case, I'll put a link in the description of this video. But for now, just try and find a way to lose as soon as possible. You'll end up getting those medals really quickly if the games are just flying by. Now, one little thing to mention here just before we head into the last stages of this video is to talk about the Duel Pass. The Duel Pass itself, you'll see it'll level itself up the more you duel. Again, the same restrictions apply, i.e. you've got to be dueling in the ranked events or the exhibition events that Konami release. But yeah, just by dueling, whether you're winning or losing, your pass will fill up and you'll start unlocking gems. Now, if we talk about the standard one for just a moment, usually you can unlock 300 gems just by playing the game, which is obviously great. There's no gem investment from you, nothing further you got to do, just got to play the game. Sounds good, right? So make sure you click the Duel Pass every so often just to collect your outstanding rewards. Now, we're going to talk about the gold one just very briefly now. In terms of accruing gems, this doesn't give you extra gems. So at the moment, a gold pass, unless they change it when the next one comes out, is 700 gems. You can only get 700 gems back. The gold pass has changed price previously as well, so it was 600 gems, and again you got 600 gems back from dueling through it, but you do get a lot more goodies from it, like you know, little I can't even say the word, aesthetic rewards like the icons and things like that. And you also do get more ultra rare crafting points, the super rare crafting points. So it's very good, but in terms of gem accrual, there is no bonus with it. So just wanted to highlight that real quick in case you were curious about the dual passes. Bearing in mind, if you get the gold pass, you're still going to unlock the stuff in the standard pass anyway. So regardless which one you go for, you can get 300 gems as a plus from dueling. Great. Last but certainly not least, I'm going to call this one the Miscellaneous Gem Bonus Chapter. Now, the reason for this is because it's when Konami just gives you gems randomly. To be fair, it's not completely random, but it's very few and far between because, as you can imagine, Konami want their money. They're not going to give out free gems constantly now, are they? That would be crazy. But when they do give them out, it's usually 1,000 gems just sitting there waiting for you to collect. At the moment, there's a video game awards related campaign that you can, again, download 1,000 gems, and I believe it was free card protectors as well. Spans over logging in for 2 days, I believe it is. But there have been other ones. The main one is usually the download campaign rather. So it's when there's either 50 million people have downloaded the game, etc, etc. It just goes up and up, so I'm sure there'll be more of these as time passes. Again, these are few and far between. However, when they are released, they are usually available to claim for a few months. It's not like you've got to log in for within a week to be able to claim them. So do check in, see if there's any free gems to claim in the missions tab, because it will fall in there. And you will usually get some other little goodies as well. Sometimes you've got to log in for a couple of days or even 3 days, but I believe all of these particular miscellaneous gem bonuses have been 1,000 gems. So do keep an eye out for them and claim them when you can. Surprise! I tell a lie. That last chapter was not the last chapter for accruing gems. I realised when editing this video, putting it together and playing Yu-Gi-Oh at the same time, that there was a super passive method that I totally forgot about because it is so passive and the results are kind of minimal. However, they do add up over time, and it's worth mentioning here, even with the RNG behind it. So you do have to, again, do this by playing the ranked games or the event matches that Konami put out there, because it is based on your score at the end of a game. So you'll probably notice that for every multiple of 1,000, you get a prize of some sort. Most of the time, it's not great. It's either a card that you will potentially never use, or a legacy ticket where the odds on getting ultra rares and decent stuff out of it are bad anyway, or you can get some gems. Now, from what I've played in my experience, the maximum you can gain in a single reward from your multiple of 1,000 is 25 gems, which is quite a nice little bonus. Although that is very rare. I think most of the time you get a really odd number like 7 or something like that. However, it's not to be sniffed at. It's worth noting it here because, again, it is a method of getting gems, and if you've really got nothing else to do and you just need a few more gems, then just play a few more games and win them, of course, because winning them gives you the better score at the end of a game. And just like that, we are now at the end of the video. All of you watching now know exactly what I know when it comes to getting as many gems as possible, and being a free-to-play player, I'd like to think I've covered all bases here. But I really do want to know your thoughts, especially if you think I've missed something. We can have a bit of a discussion. There might have been a reason why I've missed something out, but without tooting my own horn, I think we've covered it all. So again, thank you for making it this far. Really means the world to me, and I want to help as many people as possible. Again, if you did find this insightful or you enjoyed it, I would super appreciate it if you did put a like on the video. It gives me the sort of confidence, I guess you could say, or the reassurance that what I'm putting out there is useful to people. And if there is something you want to see, for example, I spoke about the secret missions, whether you want a separate video on that, I really want to do one about crafting points and how best to use them, and also how best to use your gems. I've got so many ideas and I want to help as many people out as possible. So if there's something particular you want to see, please put a comment in. It'll be good to put a comment down anyway, just so I know what you guys thought overall. That would really mean the world to me. And of course, I'm not going to force you to, but if you were to subscribe, again, that helps me to know that I'm pushing things in the right direction and that you guys all enjoy what I'm trying to put out there. So thank you again very, very much. I hope you all enjoy your gem collection and that you grind as many as possible. And until next time, you guys take care, and I will see you again soon. Thanks again, people.